All right, so Judy, are you ready for your 10 questions?
I think I am. Okay, Jeff, I am.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. If you had to choose between the two, which would you pick? Batman's utility belt or a fanny pack?
Oh, gosh. I would have to say, as outdated as it is, I would say a fanny pack.
Right? Well, I mean, a fanny pack you can wear around your waist
Right.
or across the shoulder. Like, there's a lot of options there.
Right.
Question number 2. What is your favorite movie?
I would say The Legend of Bagger Vance. Have you ever seen that movie? It's got Will Smith and Matt Damon. And it looks like it's a movie about golf, but it's not a movie about golf. Yeah.
What is it about?
It's really about finding your own swing, finding your own who you really are and living that. And it's just so well done, and I love every part of it. So
I will write that down to check out.
Yeah, you'll have to check it out.
Thanks.
It's actually
I like
based on it's based on the Bhagavad Gita, so it's actually got a spiritual component to it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So is there like an eightfold path in there too? Like,
I don't know for sure, but it's a real kind of a mind changer and a shifter. And plus, it's got Matt Damon, who's my most handsome actor.
Well, you can't go wrong there.
Right.
I get it. All right, so speaking of favorites, what is your favorite quote?
I have so many favorite quotes. I would say the one that I most love and probably use the most often is the one by Mr. Rogers. That it kind of goes something along the lines of, you have no idea how important you are in the lives of others, even the people that don't know you, and how just really how much of a difference we make. So I haven't worded it because I don't have it memorized, but that's probably one of my top ones. And then I also love I like the Marianne Williamson one about our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, it's that we're powerful beyond measure. Do you know that one? It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I think that's really true.
I was just talking to somebody the other day about why most people quit and don't follow through, and I think it's because it's related to that.
Yeah, well, even when you talked about purpose, we have a section in our work where people define their purpose, and they give us more pushback at that point than any other time in our work. And I think it's a fear that they're shooting too high, or that they're maybe afraid of what could happen if they shoot that high. So
yeah. Man, we could this. Have you read Seth Godin's Icarus Deception?
I have not.
I love that book. I highly recommend that book. There's a part in there where he talks about how, most people, when they think of Icarus, the legend of Icarus, they think of the dude flew too high and got burnt. And that's what the takeaway is, right? Don't reach too far. But the other part of that story that we often leave out is that he was also warned not to fly too low, lest the waves take him out. And so, we have to balance between the two, right? But most people just say, "Oh, I'm just not going to reach," and then they end up getting swallowed up by the waves, and they just didn't see it coming.
So true. And I think the only way you can be Icarus and be safe is to have compassion for when you get a little too close or a little too close to the waves, and just keep finding that place of loving yourself so that you can stay in that sweet spot. That's what I find. I think most people are just so afraid to even try.
Right? So they gotta talk about that. And if they do, then it brings me back to my favorite Mr. Rogers quote. If it's mentionable, it's manageable.
Yeah.
If you can't talk about it, if you can't address it, then there's not a whole lot you can do.
Right.
Which is why your work is so amazing. Okay, so moving on. Next question. What is the best advice you have ever received?
Follow your bliss. Something along those lines. Do what makes you happy. Trust what you know to be good for you.
Do you remember where you heard it?
I think I really absorbed it when I was working with one of my coaches, maybe about 10 years ago. And that's kind of a little bit about how I was thinking about some of your other questions is we are so taught not to trust ourselves that it takes a while to get back into trusting ourselves and to know that it's good enough. You don't have to be like anyone else. You don't have to do it anyone else's way. I just think it takes a lot of undoing to get there.
Right.
So.
And I would add to that it's not a box that you can check. Like it takes maintenance. It's really easy to fall back into that, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, for example, I started off these 10 questions asking people, thinking about James Lipton. And I was channeling James Lipton as I asked the questions and brought things to a close. And it took me a while to realize I shouldn't ask these like I'm James Lipton. I should just ask them like I'm
myself.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it takes intentionality. It's the maintenance of it. All right, question number 5. What was your favorite childhood toy?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Probably my bike. I just remember riding a bike and loving it, you know? That freedom. We used to be able to go anywhere. I mean, it wasn't so scary back then. And so I would ride for miles, and I'd go to the library and I'd pile up the basket on my bike with a bunch of books. So that was probably my favorite thing.
Wow. Do you know Rhonda Gray?
I don't think so.
She said the same thing.
Oh my
She said that
goodness.
she loved her bike because it offered her freedom.
Yes. Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, as long as we're in your childhood, as a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
All I know is I didn't expect to be what I became. That for sure. I think I had sort of a romantic idea when I grew up that I wanted to be a wife and a mother. I know that sounds very old-fashioned, but that was the most predominant idea that I had. I really didn't realize how much my childhood affected what I'm doing now until I'm here. Because I grew up in a family where, just like a lot of people, where when you were a kid, it was sort of like you're a blank slate and my job is to write on you. And so I wanted to do it differently than that. And that was a big part of me having a vision for my life, even though I didn't conceptualize it back then. I just thought, I want to have a family, but I want them to be able to know what their opinions are. And I wanted them to feel differently than I sometimes felt when I was little. I don't know if that's the answer to what you're talking about, but yeah.
If the question is, what did you want to be when you grew up and when you were a kid? It sounds like the answer is, I wanted to be a mom and a wife. And,
I did. I mean, people always told me I should be a lawyer, but I didn't want to do that. I could never be a lawyer. It's too contentious. But I liked to debate, so it seemed like a natural thing, but...
Yeah. Well, I think it's what makes you really good at what you do today.
Thank you.
So, question number 7. What brings you joy?
I would say right now my work. I feel like that sounds like a workaholic answer, but my youngest daughter, when she was still at home, she said to me one day, I wish I had your work ethic. And I said, you already do. And she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, you stay up all night and play video games. And she goes, oh, but that's fun, Mom. And I said, I feel so lucky that I love my work so much. I never watch the clock. I can work ridiculous hours and then look up and go, oh my gosh, I should have stopped hours ago. But I think that's the joy when you really feel like you found what you're called to do, is that it does feel a lot like a video game or something that you could really enjoy. And I feel sorry for people that don't have that, that feeling of loving what they do or being happy about it. Of course, I have other interests, but that's the thing that gives me the greatest joy.
So then I have to ask, for those people that may not have heard your podcast interview yet, what is it that you do? You say you find joy in your work. What is your work?
I do my work because I want to create a world. I'm committed to create a world where people love their lives. And I have stumbled upon a lot of conditions and things that can be put in place so that people do love their lives. And it's really helped me come to that ability to love my own life and to see people's unnecessary suffering get relieved. I bet it's a lot like what you feel when you do your coaching, but that's the part I like. I feel like I'm always undoing the things that maybe caused me pain and helping undo those in other people. And I guess that's just what I was born for, because it really fulfills me. So I go into organizations and schools and all kinds of different settings. We're working right now with a big nonprofit organization, and they happen to have schools as part of their organization. So we're working with people at all different types of work situations, and that's just, it's all about people and my work and my joy.
Yeah, it is. Well, then let's flip it. What brings you dread?
Sometimes getting on a scale.
Right? Especially in 2020
Yeah.
and early 2021.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I would say in general, I don't experience a lot of dread right now. The thing I dread the most is what's going on in our country. It's very painful to watch it and to wonder what's going to happen next. So there's some dread in that, and I don't think I'm alone in that either.
No. Have you seen, it's a HBO documentary called, is it The Soul of a Nation or Soul of America?
Mm-mm.
Have you seen that yet?
No.
If that's a concern you have, I highly recommend checking out the documentary.
Okay.
It's really good. We showed our kids that the other day, and the conversations that we were able to have about the history of America and the cycles that we can tend to fall into, and how the future can look one way, and then we can still find hope and turn it in another direction. Mm-hmm. It's just it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
So the last two questions. Question number 9. What is one thing that you would like to accomplish but cannot do on your own?
Oh gosh. Well, I know right now the idea that just popped into my head is I want to work on a more global level with people. I want to work with thought leaders and change agents. So like right now, I'm supposed to call Build-A-Bear back because I did a pitch to them back in 2011 and then again just this past spring. And it was to diversify their organization so that they would include a Build a Healthy Family, Build a Healthy School segments of their work.
That's awesome.
And I did a mock-up of what their whole environment could look like, because I was a mom with 5 kids and I could only take so many stuffed animals, but if they would have had parent training and my kids' teachers could have gone and all of that was going on, I would have probably bought way more toys from them and been very bought into them. And so it was an idea I had years ago with the HR director back when Maxine Clark still worked there, and now she's gone. She sold her company. She really liked the idea, but she sold her company, so we didn't get to do it. And so that's an example of working in tandem. So I really would love to hold hands with people that want to make big change, and they know that we're stronger together than we are apart. So, you know, that's kind of my biggest dream, is to be able to do that. But, you know, we'll see.
Right? Takes a team, takes a village. Used
Yes.
to juggle with the village idiots out at Six Flags St. Louis. I loved her saying, it takes a village to raise an idiot.
Yes.
Not that we're talking about idiots here, but that's just, and I'm off on a tangent. All right, so I'm going to bring it back with our last question. Number 10. Here comes. What do you hope people will say about you after you're gone?
I would hope that they would say, because of Judy, I really understood myself and I loved myself better as a result. That's what I want them to say.
That's awesome. Judy, I really appreciate you taking time to talk to me today. You were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. I had no idea we were going this direction, so this has been fun.